welcome to another video. Today we're going to be making a very large, sort of rectangular cascading shaped arrangement in this beautiful white ceramic glazed toll-footed container. It's sort of a classic container in a subtle color. It was very cold and raining last night, and this morning I went out very early to pick roses in the garden. The star of today's show is going to be these luscious yellow roses from the garden. They're David Austin's, of course, and my favorite yellow rose in the garden. This is Golden Celebration, and I'm going to be using white hydrangeas, white viburnum, sort of lacy viburnum, sort of like Queen Anne's lace, dogwood, and these beautiful French lilacs. Yes, lilacs are in season. Let's get started. What I did was green in lightly with viburnum and buxus or boxwood, just slightly, and have the greenery kind of cascade down the sides of the arrangement. And then I'm going to fill in further with hydrangeas and dogwood. Now, I'm not going to use a lot of hydrangeas because we're going to have a lot of these big, fluffy, open yellow roses. So I'm just going to use a few stems of the white hydrangea to cover foam. Hydrangeas are your friend in making arrangements, bouquets, because they really do cover the foam a lot without adding too much greenery. See, already we're not going to be seeing too much of this foam. Let me put this over here. Oops. Then I'm going to use some of this beautiful dogwood. This is a Kusa dogwood, Korean dogwood. I have a medium-sized tree. It's in full bloom, so I cut some to use. And I like this kind of dogwood because it lasts so long. The Chinese dogwood is gorgeous too, but it doesn't seem to last very well as a cut flower, whereas these last a very, very long time, so they're very easy to use. So I'm just using the dogwood sort of as filler and also to set some lines. Some more of the dogwood. I'm not going to add all the dogwood right now because I'll want to go back in there and put a few sprigs in after I've added my roses. I think that's pretty nice. Okay. Now we're going to go to the roses. The Golden Celebration is really one of the most beautiful yellow roses. It is prolific. It's almost never without bloom. It has very sturdy, long stems. I mean, I cut these stems way down. The stems are like 2 feet long, some of the stems, and they're heavily scented. I love the sort of reddish buds on the yellow roses, and as it ages, the rose becomes lighter in color. So when it first blooms, it's a stronger yellow, and then as it blooms larger and larger, it fades a little bit, and the roses are huge and they're just amazing. I love these roses. Almost look like a yellow peony. So I'm going to use some of these, and I love the side buds on here. Some of these are on the top here. I'm going to find like a nice big one. Look at that, there's 2 of them on this one sprig. Set in the middle of the arrangement here. Oops. So many flowers here, I can not get the turntable to turn anymore. Here we go. Turn around here, add another one here. They don't have to be identical, the 2 sides of the arrangement, but I just want to have both sides be beautiful and visible from both sides. One reason I love using my own garden roses is the side buds are so beautiful. You don't need a lot of accent flowers. It gives it some movement, and you've got the big giant roses, and then you've got the beautiful little buds that go with them. It's just charming. Okay. When I'm doing arrangements, I'm often very, very selective about the kind of greenery I use. Oh, we've got a little broken stem there. I want the greenery in the arrangement to add to the arrangement, not just to fill up space. So you'll rarely see me use the typical florist greenery like leather fern and things like that, because I think that greenery needs to add to the charm of your arrangement. I love the viburnum, the boxwood, Pittosporum's another one of my favorites. Eucalyptus, there's all these novelty eucalyptus now. The mini ones are really beautiful. So I think the greenery is important, because I can imagine if we did this beautiful arrangement but we had all this leather fern coming out of it, it just kind of doesn't go. I want this to look like it came from a beautiful English garden. So the greenery, I think, is also important, not just the flowers. Okay. Here's a stem that has a slightly lighter yellow. Very beautiful. And I'm imagining this could go on a very large rectangular dining table as a large centerpiece, or on a sideboard or entrance hall table. So if it's going to be going in the dining room, you're going to make sure the ends are pretty too, not just the two sides. Okay. I think we're mostly done with the roses. I can go back and fill in. Now we're going to use these beautiful French lilacs. I thought the lilac color would be beautiful with the yellow roses. Lavender and yellow are, well, blue and yellow are on opposite sides of the color wheel. And so the blue undertones in the lavender will set off the yellow beautifully. Nothing like lilacs to give you that very romantic, frilly feel. One of my favorite flowers. I wish it was around year-round, but the season is very short. And it's very hard to grow lilacs in Northern California because we don't have the hard winter chill. So I'm going to add some on the ends here to kind of extend the rectangular lines. Let's see, do I have another stem? Yes, I have another stem of lilac. I'm going to have to use that. Now when I'm doing these arrangements, I like them very full and lush, but I don't want them to look stiff and I don't know, too tight. So make sure you give your arrangement some depth. Like when I add this rose in, instead of sinking it way down, I'm going to have it kind of nod over the container so that you've got a little bit more movement and depth to that arrangement. That makes sense? Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to add in some of these lacy viburnum. I think I talked about in one of my videos that my snowball viburnums, one of the bushes, has the snowballs and these growing on the same bush. I don't know why, but I do love the single ones too. See, you can see this one bloom. It has the snowball blossoms as well as the single blossoms. So whatever it is, I'm happy that I have it. Because my Queen Anne's lace, I planted from seed. They're not blooming yet, and I wanted some lacy flowers to use in this arrangement. So these are perfect. And the foliage from the viburnum, I love. They're beautiful year round. In the fall, they turn a bright red. And they last much longer than like maple and things like that. I just want to add a little bit of this frilly lacy flower to make this more romantic and a little bit looser. dropped a sprig. Count. Let's see, I'm gonna check it to make sure it's pretty from all directions. I think this end here can use a little bit of something to hide it. Find the green, the side also. Okay. And I think we're almost done. Oh no, do we need another sprig of dogwood up here? I think that'd be pretty. Go. I also have some of these lavender spray roses. I'm debating whether or not to add a little bit in, maybe just a little bit. I'm going to add it in right next to the lilac so that it just kind of reinforces that pretty lavender color. Repeats it a little bit, but I want this to be primarily about the yellow roses. There we go. Let's see if we add a couple of more sprigs of this spray rose here next to the lilac. And I think we're done. A beautiful lush arrangement of beautiful David Austin roses and lilacs and dogwood. We have Golden Celebration in here, French lilacs, dogwood, viburnum, and hydrangeas.